Good morning, everyone. It's 11 a.m., and we're starting the Fellowship of Freethought Gathering. I'm Justin Fisher, the Education Director. Usually we have Alex Jules, our historian, starting us off, but he, along with a fair number of other of our members, are at Skepticon, so he's not doing the introduction. We will get to see a little bit from Alex and Zach later on as they've made videos introducing us to some of the people that they've met at Skepticon, so we'll get to see them in a moment, but for now, you're stuck with me. Let's see. First, logistical thing starting off. Our kids' classes, usually we do a sort of secular Sunday school-like kids' class in the morning. And unfortunately, some of our volunteers for that ended up needing to bail. And we have a sort of set up quickly thing that Whitney Ford has done for some of the kids. And we have free use of the facilities, so I guess parents, you're welcome, and your kids are welcome to use the gym and stuff like that. So I guess make sure you have somebody responsible keeping an eye on them. Does anybody have any questions about that, or are we all set with that? Good. And sorry about that. One thing, does somebody happen to have a sheet of paper that we could, looks like maybe we don't, but somebody can figure something out. I was going to suggest starting a sign-up list to go around, just because we've been a bit short on volunteers always for kids' classes. And this is something that we probably should be able to do all right, because we're all free thinkers. We all, I think, value education. We all look forward to having the next generation hopefully be better at critical thinking than current and previous generations have been. And so, having these sorts of educational classes for kids here is something that can do something that we all value. So hopefully we can get people who are willing to pitch in for this. Yes, Stephen?
I was going to say, and I had just told Amanda that I kind of don't want to do it anymore because I do it every time and I never get to participate in this part. So if we had more people doing it, at least I'd get to go every other month or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be great, because that's another issue we have, is that we have a number of people who've been doing it month after month after month, which they're really good with the kids, and that's great, but on the other hand, we risk burnout, and it's not really fair having the same people always needing to be with the kids and never getting to enjoy in the gathering programs. So let's see, did anybody find a piece of paper? We could just dedicate an envelope to this task, but it would be great if a piece of paper could go around and get a few people's names and emails on it that you wouldn't mind Amanda emailing you and bugging you about maybe taking a shift helping out with the kids occasionally. That would be great. Yeah, Mark?
Well, alternatively, somebody might send out an email to everybody on the meetup.com list and the email list, if there is one. I assume there is.
Great.
And also the Facebook list.
Great. Yeah, we'll.
All three of those places, I think you're going to get some hits.
Great. We'll do that too. Good. Okay, so I think that's it for kids stuff. Otherwise, logistics-wise, we're operating on a bit of a skeleton crew here, but we still got a great program lined up for you. We'll start off with an introduction by me, and then we got videos of people at Skepticon, and we have some other great talks lined up for you. So I guess I'll start off by introducing what we'll be talking about. I guess one of the reasons we're on a skeleton crew this time is that well, Skepticon's going on, but also Thanksgiving's coming up, and people are traveling for that. And so, Thanksgiving's a lot of fun in a lot of ways. You get, many of us will get to see family, we'll get great food, you'll get football and crowded shopping if those are your things. So, lots of good stuff about Thanksgiving. But there's something that I think free thinkers always feel a little bit wary about as Thanksgiving's coming up. You all know what I'm talking about? Yeah, the Thanksgiving prayers. That's my least favorite part of Thanksgiving, and you can think of three reasons, at least for me, why Thanksgiving prayers are a bit uncomfortable. I mean, first, there's the obvious one that they're praying to something that doesn't exist. At least most of us have doubts about the existence of who they're praying to. So that's one reason to be worried about Thanksgiving prayers. Second reason is, as people are praying, they're thanking God for the food on their table and their guns and NASCAR or whatever it is that they thank God for. And it seems like lots of the stuff, well, we know where the stuff comes from, and and we could, maybe we should be thanking people for it. Think about the wonderful Thanksgiving dinner. It was Mom slaving over the hot stove that prepared this Thanksgiving dinner, and sort of giving thanks to God and not thanks to Mom is sort of missing the point of where this stuff came from. So that's, another sort of concern is, there are often cases that it seems like we should be giving thanks to actual people for the great things they've done for us. And that sometimes is missed out on in Thanksgiving. Amen. Great. And the third sort of concern is captured in this demotivational poster here that says, prayer, how to do nothing and still feel like you're helping. And it seems like it's great that people want to give thanks, recognize things that have been done that are good for us, and to give thanks for it. But it'd be better still if people would take the next step, and rather than just saying thanks, to make active steps to continue the process of good things that have come their way, and ensure those good things will continue to move on. So that's going to be the stuff that we're especially talking about in the gathering today, is ways in which we've all benefited, lots of things that we have to be thankful for, and also lots of ways that we can turn around and actually do something, actually help to continue the process so other people and we ourselves in the future can continue to benefit from these sorts of things. So that's the sort of stuff we'll be talking about this time. We'll start off with a greeting from some of our members who are in Skepticon, and they basically went around asking various people at Skepticon, many of whom, at least if you keep up with internet atheism, many of whom will be familiar to you, so we can see what they're thankful for. So here's Alex talking from Skepticon.
Good morning. Well, yeah, it's still morning for you guys. It is hopefully about 11 o'clock or so on Sunday morning. For us, it's Saturday afternoon, about 3:30. We are at Skepticon in Springfield, Missouri. We could not be there. I'm here with Zach and several other of our members. If there are any guests there, we usually have a lot more people there, but again, today is Skepticon. So today's topic, in line with the holidays, is Thanksgiving. Now, a lot of times, theists tend to believe that they have the market cornered on giving thanks, because giving thanks or being thankful tends to imply giving thanks or being thankful to someone. Well, we can debate that. We can talk about that. And I always encourage that. But for those of us that don't believe, we tend to be thankful as well. And this video, I hope, is going to prove that. The thing is, we're just not thankful to a God, not to a deity. I'm very thankful for technology. I'm very thankful for my family. I'm very thankful for the farmers that provide our food. I'm thankful for the scientists and the doctors that ensure that my children will not be eradicated by some type of disease and provide vaccines to protect them. I am very thankful for our veterans and our soldiers that ensure, as you'll hear in this video, that we as free thinkers are allowed to express our disbelief, our free thought. It is through their sacrifice that we are allowed to express ourselves. You don't have to give thanks to anyone in particular if you don't necessarily feel that you have to, but acknowledging that people contribute to your daily life, to your daily bread, quite literally, sometimes goes a long way. So take a minute to reflect and thank, if not acknowledge, those that merit and inspire your gratitude.
My name is Sarah Molia. I am from Columbus, Ohio, and I am thankful for the world. I just think about every day about how fantastic it is that we have things like canyons and mountains and oceans and rivers, and it sounds so stupid, but it's also cool that it all comes together. Or we have animals that are just completely diverse and they do all sorts of fun things, and I sound like such a loser, but it's so cool to think about. I'm also just thankful for people that are so kind and helpful and generous, and the fact that we evolved from single-celled organisms and we are now this thriving society that helps people and does cool things. And I just love it. And of course, science that allows us to make technology to film things and amplify my voice so someone in the future can hear it. Hi, I'm from the past. And I just think it's all so cool. So I'm thankful for all of it.
Hi, I'm Surly Amy from skepchick.org and surlyramix.com. And I think I'm probably most thankful for all of my friends and for my family and for all the wonderful people that have supported me and purchased my art, because it allows me to do what I really want to do. And I think that I give back to the community by making the art. At least I hope that I do, because I hope to encourage people to learn more about science and skepticism. And I hope my art is a little bit of a gateway drug into doing that. So thanks, everyone. Have a happy holiday season.
I'm Hemant Mehta. I'm from Chicago, and I'm thankful that I have good students in the classroom this year, good friends, good family.
Hi, I'm Aaron Ra. I'm from Dallas. And what I'm thankful for, I'm not one of those guys that covets what other people have that I want. I'm one of those guys that looks at the burdens that other people have to bear, and I'm thankful I don't have those. I have a lot going good for me, and I wouldn't wish any more if it meant that I'd had to lose what I already have. And I'm happy to be there.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Watson. I'm from the internet. And I am thankful for, video games, my cats, and tons of awesome skeptics and atheists who I'm hanging out with right now, actually.
Hi, my name is Debbie Goddard, and I'm glad that I'm not being persecuted for my beliefs, that I live in a place where there's enough freedom for us to have intellectual conversation and reasonable disagreements, and sometimes angry and loud disagreements, but I don't expect to be physically assaulted or attacked for thinking differently than most people around me.
I'm Daryl Ray. I'm from the Kansas City area, and I'm most thankful that I finally figured out that there is no God.
Can I explain my answer? All right. So first of all, I think a lot of this business of asking if you're thankful for something is an attempt to force people to anthropomorphize the universe. And I am not thankful to the universe. The universe is not going to express any gratitude back. But there are lots of things I like. I like being alive. I like existence. I like squid. I like fish. I like my wife. I like my kids. So of course there's lots of things I like. But I'm not giving credit to the universe.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
I'll start. I'm Jen McCrite. I'm from Seattle, Washington. And I'm most thankful that I'm living here now. As an outspoken person who's really outspoken about things like atheism and feminism and science, my life wouldn't have been so happy if I was living 100 years ago. Especially as a woman, I wouldn't have been able to speak out about these kind of things. I wouldn't have been able to become a scientist, probably. And I live in a day and age where I can get on the internet and blog about whatever I want, and people can give feedback to me and not worry that I'm going to get killed or ostracized for my beliefs entirely. So the internet and the future and the now, that's what I'd be most thankful for.
I'm thankful for the very fact that I'm alive. The chances of me having been born are astronomically unlikely. You know, the odds that that particular sperm and that particular egg happen to meet at that particular time, and then then you multiply that by the odds that my parents got born, and that their parents got born, and their parents. The chances of me existing at all are beyond astronomical, and I am just incredibly fortunate to even be alive at all. So I'm very thankful for that.
I'm Carrie. I'm the tour manager for Sam Singleton Atheist Evangelist. And I am thankful for the trees. Me and the Lorax.
Right, my name is Blair Scott. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama, Communications Director for American Atheists. And I am thankful that a bunch of organizations exist to defend our rights and to defend the wall of separation between church and state. and that so many people are engaged in this movement right now, and more are joining us on a daily basis. And if you're not, I encourage you to join the movement so that you can be thankful for it as well.
My name is Ed Brayton. I'm from Michigan. I'm the owner of the Freethought Blogs network that some of your members are probably familiar with. This is going to sound weird, I'm thankful that I lost my job this week. And not very many people can say that, I'm sure, but it allows me the opportunity to bring a bunch of projects I've had kind of on the back burner and bring them up to the front and start working on them because I'll have time to do that again. So, seems an odd thing to be thankful for, but I actually am. So.
I'm Joe Nickel. I'm from Skeptical Inquirer Science Magazine. I'm thankful to be here in Springfield. I'm just thankful to be in Springfield. Of course, as you get older, you're thankful to be anywhere. But it's good to be in Springfield with all these skeptics, and I'm going to have a great time here.
My name is David Silverman. I'm president of American Atheists, and I'm thankful to everyone who is coming out of the closet and saying that they're an atheist. I'm thankful to everyone who's a member of American Atheists or any other atheist organization anywhere. I'm thankful to any activist who is making sure that the church and state stays separate. I am thankful to everyone who is a part of the atheist movement.
That's it. Yep. Great. So that's Alex and Zach running around with the camera at Skepticon, and so it get a flavor of what we're all missing out on by being here, but we'll have fun here too. One of the aspects of being with only a skeleton crew today is that we don't have our normal band. Fortunately, Mark Farley has generously agreed to help out with music stuff, but he has emphasized that what he's willing to do is to make his guitar make pleasant noises. But he needs us to do the singing. So we're going to sing a familiar song. What I'd like to do is to recruit a couple of people who can sort of be willing to stand up front. Dallin, I have you in mind because you have the personality for this, but maybe somebody else is willing, willing to come up front, and so you're going to be helping out with singing Over the River and Through the Woods, but I hope everybody else will join in with this as well, and we'll do it sort of karaoke style, except I'm not smart enough with PowerPoint to get the bouncing ball to go along with Mark. I didn't have enough foresight to know when he'd play things to do it. So we have the words here by verses, so we'll do that, and hopefully it'll go well.
Stings the toes and bites the nose as over the ground we go. Run through the woods, you see little John and Anne. We'll kiss them all and play snowball and stay as long as we can. Over the river and through the woods, draw fast my dapple gray. Spring over the ground like a hunting hound, for this is Thanksgiving Day. Through the woods, straight to the barnyard gate. We seem to go extremely slow, it is so hard to wait. Over the river and through the wood, our grandfather's cap I spy. Hurrah for the bun is the pudding done, hurrah for the pumpkin pie.
Thanks, Mark, for helping us out with music here, and thanks everyone for joining in. Great. Okay, so now we'll have a talk from Don Llewellyn talking about various ways in which we have, or we ought to be thankful to our communities and various ways that we can give back also. So welcome, Don.
Hey, Jason, when you make the videos, go maybe shut off the lights too. It's the two left ones. All right. Everybody ready for Thanksgiving? Well, that's what we're going to be celebrating in a few days, and I'm looking forward to eating too much and getting together with a lot of friends and family and having a good time. It's also a time when we pause and think for a moment about all the things that we are to be thankful for. That's a good thing to do. But Is that all there is to it? You know, just kind of being thankful? My mom used to wag her finger at me and she said, son, there's 3 parts to playing with your toys. There's the getting out part, there's the playing part, and there's putting away part. I think there might also be 3 parts to being thankful. The receiving part, the expressing gratitude part, and the giving back part. Now, that giving back idea, that really isn't a new idea. Way back a couple hundred years ago, the firebrand revolutionary Thomas Paine wrote a little pamphlet in which he argued that everything beyond what your own hands produce is a gift that comes to you merely because you live in society. Therefore, as he put it, you owe a part of that accumulation back to the society from whence the whole came. Now, it turns out that there's a very practical reason for giving back to society. It's the same reason a farmer uses when he spends his hard-earned money on fertilizer for his crops. It makes them produce more, so he can make more money from even greater yields. You know, old Henry Ford knew this when he paid his workers about 3 times the going rate. He wanted them to be willing to work really hard, kind of like the farmer wants his crops to be really productive. That hard work helped old Henry keep his unit costs down, and that made his cars cheaper, so more people could afford them, and that made old Henry even richer. You know, when Bill Gates grew Microsoft, you and I helped. As a government, we used eminent domain to force a few people to abandon their homes so some of his corporate buildings could be built. Our tax money was used to build more roads, to widen bridges, to install extra traffic signals, to enhance the sewer system, and even to run water to his corporate offices. You and I paid for all that. Our tax money continues to pay for the police and fire services to protect his buildings. Our tax money even pays for Homeland Security to protect his company against terrorist attacks. To paraphrase old Tom Paine, a part of Bill Gates' wealth is a gift that came from the rest of us. A gift that came to him simply by living in a society. And Bill, to his credit, recognizes that, and he's used a lot of his wealth to establish a foundation that provides health and development assistance worldwide. In other words, Bill agrees that he has an obligation to give some of his wealth back to society. Some people call that obligation pay it forward. Or if you're an academic, you probably call it social reciprocity. Elizabeth Warren expresses the pay it forward idea in this short video clip.
There is nobody in this country who got rich on his own. Nobody. You built a factory out there, good for you, but I want to be clear, you moved your goods to market on the roads the rest of us paid for. Yep. You hired workers the rest of us paid to educate. You were safe in your factory because of police forces and fire forces that the rest of us paid for. You didn't have to worry that marauding bands would come and seize everything at your factory and hire someone to protect against this because of the work the rest of us did. Now look, you built a factory and it turned into something terrific or a great idea. God bless. Keep a big hunk of it. But part of the underlying social contract is you take a hunk of that and pay forward for the next kid who comes along.
But what does all that mean to you and me as individuals? I don't know about you, but I didn't start a big company, and I'm not worth millions. Let's think about that for a minute. Isn't the giving back part much broader than just money? Yes, indeed. The very essence of society is people supporting other people in their time of need. And part of that obligation is to recognize that there, except for pure luck, go I. You know, for thousands of years, some native cultures have engaged in a complex ceremony that celebrates extreme giving. It's called potlatch. Cultural interpretations vary, but often the status of a family was dictated not by who had the most possessions, but by who gave away the most. The more lavish and bankrupting the potlatch, the more prestige the family gained. But I'm not talking about extreme giving like that. Also, I'm not talking about giving solely in the hope of getting something back from the person you helped. After all, it's well documented that even male chimpanzees give food in the hope of getting sex. Come to think about it, I believe some guys have been known to use food and drink in a nice restaurant with much the same hope. But we're not talking about giving solely to receive. Instead, we're talking about giving back in order to make our society better for everybody. It's a recognition that you have an obligation to do something for someone else in order to repay the things that you've been given. You know, I was in a store a few weeks ago, and I noticed that a little kid had pulled down a couple of furry teddy bears and left them on the floor. As I stopped to pick them up and put them back on the shelf, a lady with her arms full of presents and 2 kids in tow stopped and asked me where the diapers were. She looked pretty surprised when I told her I didn't work there and I was just picking up the bears before they got all dirty and somebody tripped on them. As I was finishing my little task, I noticed that the tornado child had also dumped several boxes of crayon on the floor further down the aisle. But as I watched, I was kind of surprised to see the woman stop and lay down her armful of things to buy, and then she and her 2 kids picked up the crayons and put them back on the shelf. You know, this giving back thing is kind of contagious. There's even a movie called Pay It Back. It's Pay It Forward. Yeah, that's right, Pay It Forward. Thank you. Exactly. That's the story of Trevor, a 6th grader whose social studies assignment is to come up with an idea that will change the world. His idea is to help 3 people with the understanding that they each will help 3 other people. But as Trevor put it, it has to be something that's kind of hard to do, not something that's easy, like fixing somebody's bicycle for them. Here's a few seconds from that movie trailer.
Today.
That's me. And that's 3 people. And I'm going to help them. But it has to be something really big. Something they can't do by themselves. So I do it for them. Then they do it for 3 other people. That's 9. And I do
That's
3 more.
27, so I'm not really good at math, but it gets big really fast, you know?
As the movie continues, you watch Trevor carefully select the people he'll help. One of the people is a homeless drug addict, and Trevor's efforts fail over and over. He has similar results with the other people he selects, but he keeps trying because, as he said, it has to be something that's kind of hard to do. And eventually, he has some successes. Okay, spoiler alert. But I don't think this will really spoil your enjoyment of the movie. Near the end of the movie, Trevor rushes to the aid of a boy he's been helping, and the boy is repeatedly bullied. But this time, Trevor gets stabbed to death. The media picks up on the story, and it's so compelling that it goes viral. And Pay It Forward becomes an idea with international support. By the way, Pay It Forward is available on Netflix as either a DVD or a download. It's a good movie. Speaking of going viral, there's a little different slant on Pay It Forward. A college student named Christopher Lowe created an organization called the Karma Seed. His group formalizes the process of paying it forward. You start with a card the size of a credit card. The card has instructions, a serial number, and a web address on it. After you help somebody, you give them the card with the understanding that they'll help somebody else. Then you record what you did on the Karma Seed website under that card's serial number. As time goes by, you can track your card and see all the activities that were performed as a result of that single thread that you started. Here's a brief movie on that.
It's not about recognition, and it's not about praise. It's not about obligation, or approval, or getting something for nothing. The Karma Seed is about sending your best self into the world and seeing what it can do. The lives it can touch, the paths it can travel. The Karma Seed is about reminding ourselves and others what it means to be human. By returning something that's lost, or putting spare change in someone else's meter. The Karma Seed is about connecting complete strangers through a network of random acts of kindness. It's about giving a single person the opportunity to start a chain reaction of good intentions and allowing everyone on that chain to share their stories. The Karma Seed is about inspiring others and providing hope for the future. It's about spreading something good, and it starts with you.
Interesting idea. So after you've eaten too much this Thanksgiving, after you've enjoyed the company of friends and family, I hope you take just a few seconds to think about how many gifts that you enjoy just by being a member of this society. You know, you could have just as easily been born and raised in abject poverty in another land. Then I hope you take just a minute to think about how lucky you are. And finally, I hope you'll spend some time thinking of ways you can pay it forward. Thanks.
Thanks, Don. So next up, we have another bit of music. This one comes from the internet. This is the performer Mr. E, also with some Pay It Forward stuff.
I was talking with an architect friend. We were working on some building plans. He was doing them as a favor to me. I said I'd really like to pay you for these. He said I don't mind, it's just a breeze. You can pay it forward when you get the chance. I said, what do you mean by paying it forward? I've never heard of that. He said, paying it forward is doing good deeds, and it's better than paying back. Pay it forward to someone in the future in need of it. Pay it forward to someone who's asking you to help them out. Don't worry about paying me back for this. Just pass it on in an act of kindness. It was only the next day I was at a truck stop when a woman approached me in need of some help. She was sleeping in her car and her father wasn't well. They were trying to get home and they were out of funds. They had a friend in Flagstaff who was gonna give them some. They just needed to get there and some food. How could I turn them away? I thought, when he's been so good to me, it's time that I pay the price for the blessings I receive. Pay it forward to someone in the future in need of it. Pay it forward to someone who's asking you to help them out. Don't worry about paying me back for this. Just pass it on in an act of kindness. Pay it forward to someone in the future in need of it. Pay it forward. Someone who's asking you to help them out. Don't worry about paying me back for this. Just pass it on in an act of kindness. Pay it forward.
So just one example of many of paying it forward is when I was a starving grad student and I would go to conferences and not really have the money to buy the meals when I go out to dinner with professors. A number of times I had professors who paid for my meal and they said, well, someday when you have a job and have money, you pay for students in the future too. And I think I've almost gotten even, and eventually this is going to turn out to be a great Ponzi scheme for the future students as I keep going and buy them lots of meals. But that's how it works, and it's good that it works that way. Great. Okay, so next up we'll have Stephen Nicola talking about some of his experiences doing community service in the Freethought community. Welcome, Stephen.
Yeah. This is my first PowerPoint presentation, and I'm used to talking to first and second graders. So, okay, I just want to get used. All right, so I point it there, right? And this is forward, and this is backward. Well, backward doesn't really work. Here it is. Okay. Okay. Well, this is community service and volunteering in the free, and I'm going to mostly read, so you can just kind of look there. Okay. With me, Stephen Nicola. I learned two things over the past few months of doing community service and volunteering, and I want to share those two things with you. At the end of August, a Christian and I were sparring on Facebook. Ashley was pointing out how Christians are doing all the good works in the world. Her statement showed me her ignorance of who freethinkers are and what our intentions are, and how painfully wrong she was about us. She said, "All good things are from above, and it's so easy to lose sight of it in the world as it is today. But who will you find in the homeless shelters and feeding the hungry? Christ followers. And who will you find in a Haitian orphanage fasting with starving orphans who don't have food? Christ followers, who could live in American abundance but choose not to because they love with a God-sized love. Well, I responded to her what I thought was arrogant and egocentric statement by telling her, I participate every month in the AIDS Services Supper Club, where a small group of people from the Fellowship of Freethought provides dinner, dessert, and drinks out of their own wallets. I participate in frequent shoreline cleanups with adults and children. It's a hair-raising experience for Ben. I also participate in the Adopt a Highway cleanup, which has a certain thrill of its own. I'm not doing a pole dancer. I'm an atheist, and I serve humanity in small ways because helping others benefits them, and me, and all of society. I'm moral without God and motivated to be moral without God. I'm not out to prove anything. This is just who I am. And by the way, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates are atheists and have given billions of dollars to fuel philanthropic endeavors around the world. My response had no effect on Ashley. In fact, in the face of my honest testimonial for Freethought Community Service, Ashley went on to post, have you ever seen an atheist soup kitchen or orphanage, hospital, rape crisis center? Where are the atheists serving in Haiti? Are they raising money for the starving children in the Horn of Africa, selling everything they own to move there and live in deplorable conditions in the service of others? Do you know any atheist who sacrifices for the good of others, who rally for anything other than to shoot down and criticize those who are doing these things? She was really laying it on thick. I responded with, we're humans, Ashley. We do good works out of altruism for humanity. In fact, I and many of my atheist friends donated to the relief funds for Haiti, whether they were secular or religious organizations. When there is an emergency, you supply the workers who are there with the money and supplies necessary, no matter what they believe, and that's what we did. Ashley went silent for a day. She ended the Facebook conversation the next day with this. You're right. I checked around because I really didn't know. You are out there serving. I have just never crossed paths with an atheist organization serving. Forgive me for assuming. I just really didn't know. So you're right. Again. I was ignorant of this. God still loves me, Jesus still died for me and you, and I am still praying for the love of God to overwhelm you. I was a little suspicious of her reply, and her witnessing to me made me think that she missed my point. My point is this, and this is the first thing of the two things that I told you that I learned. Community service and volunteering are the foundations upon which the Freethought community will be active and respected members of the community at large. The religious don't know us. They have very bad stereotypes of who freethinkers are, what our attitudes are, and what our actions are. We must be active in our community as freethinkers and show them who we are. A few days later, back in August of this year still, at the AIDS Services of Dallas Supper Club, several people couldn't attend that night. So 2 people delivered stuff to me to bring, then a woman had a car breakdown and couldn't attend, so a believer friend of mine wanted to attend, and he brought the food item that would have been lacking. Melanie Clemmer, our tireless event organizer, very appreciatively called me a hero for helping those 3 volunteers and for bringing in another person. It was great to be complimented, but it felt wrong to be called a hero. I told her, no, Melanie, that's not the attitude I want us to have. It's not heroism, it's service. Community service is not about fame or fortune. It's not a rescue mission. It's not heroism. There will be no limos, no cameras, no reporters, and it's not grandiose. It's not a sacrifice. God's not watching and recording your deeds, and you will not go to heaven. My point of my interaction with Melanie is this, and this is the second thing that I learned that I wanted to share with you. I want to inform you that the Freethought community, that volunteering and community service are things that we volunteers do because we want to. It's kind and it's honorable. Community service is about what you do in the present to affect the future. It is active participation, not just giving money. It is work done in this life, in the natural world, with results and benefits for this life and for the natural world. It's not heroism, it's service. In addition to the community service that I've already mentioned, community service includes doing comforting tasks like baking cookies for veterans and firefighters. I like that picture. Community service includes having a party to raise money for the SPCA or for AIDS Services of Dallas. But no matter what impression I made on you today, I want you to walk away with the attitude that doing community service and volunteering is this, and not this. Just do 6 acts of community service or volunteering per year. It's easy and fun. Look at our FOF calendar and sign up, and that's really all there is to it, and that's really enough. You get to meet and get to know the people who participate, and you'll get to meet and get to know the people who benefit. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. I also want to thank Stephen for when he was having these experiences and thinking about this stuff and was excited about it. He emailed me and said, hey, I've had these insights that I'd be excited to share at the gathering, and I'm really happy that he emailed me. And I also want to open that invitation up to other people. If you're having thoughts that you'd like to share, and it's my job to come up with the program for the gathering, and so I welcome having diverse voices talking about their experiences and stuff like that, and I'm very happy that Stephen came up to tell about his experiences doing this stuff. Thanks. Good. Okay, so next up we're going to have another bit of sing-along. So Mark has again generously agreed to play guitar for us. Can get a couple other people to come help coordinate music? Could be the same ones, or do we have 2 other people who'd like to? Oh, we're going to be singing What a Wonderful World. So need people. Stan's coming up again. And Dallon's coming up again. Okay, great.
Red roses too, I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies blue, clouds of white, a bright happy day, dark starry night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I know when I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Thanks again, Mark, for playing, and thanks everybody for singing along. Great. Okay, so next up we have our very own outreach director, Melanie Clemmer, who'll be talking about various outreach opportunities that we have through the Fellowship of Freethought.
Okay, well, Stephen already gave a pretty good overview in his talk, and Stephen is still my hero, by the way. So we have some things that we actually do on a monthly basis and some on a quarterly basis. And on the second Saturday shoreline cleanup, the second Saturday of every month, we do have our shoreline cleanup, which is held at White Rock Lake. And that is every second Saturday, rain, shine, sunshine, snow, hurricane, et cetera. It's like they are very proud of not having missed a Saturday since 1995. And as you saw in the bulletin, we are the Adopt a Shoreline New Group of the Year. And yes, this is our paddle. It's like, how nice. Okay. And I just love this picture of Stephen. So every other month, and soon to be in 2 locations. We have one in Dallas right now. This sign is actually right in front of the North Park Mall. So we actually have a fairly prominent stretch of highway. So we used to do it once a quarter, but our section of the highway gets pretty messy. So we're doing it every other month now, and I actually have an application in for those of you who might be on the Fort Worth side of things to actually get a stretch of highway there. Okay. The 4th Thursday of every month, we do the AIDS Services of Dallas, the Ewing House Supper Club. This is where we actually make a nutritious meal for the residents of that house. And we have a lot of fun with this. In my other life, I used to do this with the church that I went to. And one of the things that we found out was that they kind of get the same things over and over. I mean, they're very grateful for whatever they have, but when you're having lasagna pretty much every night, it does get a little bit old, and so we kind of pride ourselves on having a theme, really using the talents of our group. We've done stir fry. We had a Halloween theme last month. We're hoping to do, a Christmas thing in December, and they really seem to appreciate it. So, and it's an opportunity for foodies to try out new recipes. We have some seasonal activities. Today, we're actually doing a toy drive over here, if you're wondering where to put them, for community services community partners of Dallas, which helps kids who are in the Child Protective Services program. We've done school supplies for them. You can still, if you weren't able to bring toys today, I have until December the 10th to drop them off. And you can also donate money, gift cards, if you want to do that sort of thing. We're also going to be helping in the toy warehouse in December, as far as helping them arrange the toys, receive deliveries, check off the wish list, and I think there's still one slot open for that. I had to put a cap on that one. We've also done cookie parties where we thank our local lovely firemen, as Stephen put, and police departments. And this past, we actually thanked our veterans, and most of them were patients of mine. And for those of you that donated cookie dough or were able to help, they were all really, really appreciative, because a lot of them do. They are homebound. They don't get a lot of visitors, and to know that somebody was thinking about them really meant a lot to them. So, okay. Probably about once a quarter, we do a Cocktails for a Cause, and historically the money goes to benefit Foundation Beyond Belief, and we were Partners of the Year for them last year. But you can also donate to choose for the money to go to a secular cause of your choice. Stephen hosted one at Justin and Tammy's house where we raised money for Team Voice for the AIDS the Lone Star Ride for fighting AIDS, if I got that right. So. Okay, and the rest of it is going to be up to you. As you've probably seen, we're trying to divide FOF into different regions. And so the hope is that, the people who live far north Dallas will have kind of their own little group where they will be able to do some outreach in their area and not feel like they have to drive to the middle of Dallas or, more people over in Fort Worth. And any ideas, any things that you want to see in your community, please feel free to come up to me or send me a message through Meetup, and we can get some other opportunities available for you. Okay. The last thing I would like to do before we let the kids come in is do the Volunteer of the Year award, and this person is somebody who has been at just about all of our outreach activities, once again helping me pick up trash at White Rock Lake, even when it was raining. If he can't be there, he usually finds a way to donate food to the ASD meal, etc. So Jeff Elmer, would you like to come forward and receive your Volunteer of the Year?
So Melanie, before you get too far away, I'm a little scared to do this when she's got that paddle, but other board members and I wanted to also give a token of appreciation to Melanie for all the hard work that she's done herding the atheist cats and getting us all to work on this outreach stuff. So Emily, if you want to give Melanie a token. And thanks, Melanie. Great. Okay, so next up we have Whitney Ford's going to tell us about some of the stuff that they did with the kids today, and we should also really appreciate that Whitney came up with this stuff very much at the last minute. So here we are.
Today we have Shy Kids. They made giving back turkeys, and we talked about how they can give back to the community. And we also made paper swans and colored. Thank you.
Okay, so next up we have some announcements, and the first one I'm going to call Jason up because he said he had some relevant stuff to say.
Thank you very much. This wasn't planned, so this is just kind of a thing that's been burning in my head the last few days. It has to do with community service and how we interact with other people. And pardon me, I'm getting over a cold. I went to a Freethinker meetup for a movie night with one of the local colleges. And when everyone came down for the movie night, I was sitting there in the hallway, just kind of waiting, expecting everyone to be early. They all came down in one big troop. Not a single person said hi. Not the leader, not the other students, no one said hi. They opened up the room, we all went in for movie night. Still, nobody said hi. Nobody even mentioned a word of saying, "Oh, you're a guy we don't know." I could have been just Joe Blow off the street, coming into their meeting. They would have no idea who I was. When you interact with people, you are making yourself a representative of that group. So when you do something like don't say hi to a new person, or when you come into a new group and not a single person, if you came in new to this group and not a single person here said hi to you, do you think you'd come back? Probably not. Okay. So when you're doing outreach programs or any kind of thing with a social situation like we do, and you don't interact well with other people, you don't say hi, you don't welcome them into the group, you're probably not going to get a good return on what you're looking to accomplish. Every time you interact with people on the internet, all right, it may seem small, but the interactions you have make a big difference. Just getting those interactions initiated is a big part. Okay, that's all I was really burning to say. So.
Thanks, Jason. Let's see, I've got a couple of announcements. other announcements to do. Sorry for this noise. Good. Great. So one is that Freethought isn't free. We have regular costs. Our biggest expense is renting the rec center each month for this, but we also get children's supplies for the activities, equipment. We recently got the sound system that we're using now, which thank goodness, because the band couldn't bring their sound system, so we would have been without if we hadn't recently got this. But we're working on getting stuff, and we're also using a lint projector and stuff like that. So we're working on having the stuff that we won't have to worry if we don't have whoever donates stuff a particular month, that we'll have the regular stuff to go with. So all of this takes money, so we really appreciate donations that you can give. There should be donation boxes around. I don't see them, but they should be somewhere. So we would be very happy to do that. They're on the coffee table. And also you can donate online. You can do it through PayPal, but we get charged a tiny bit of a fee for that, or you can do it through Google Payments, and that they don't take any fee out, so it all goes to the organization. So if it's all the same to you, please do it through Google, but if you want to do it through PayPal, we're happy to have the money, even if PayPal takes a cut also. So thank you very much for your donations, and if some of us don't have disposable money, if you have disposable time, we're very happy having any sorts of volunteer things with our outreach stuff, or ask people like me or Don or Melanie what you can do to help out with the organization. We'll be very happy with that. Yeah, Jamie?
Is there another garage sale coming up?
I'm not sure. Is Larry here somewhere?
We haven't scheduled one yet. We just had a few people say that they asked us, so we're sure how much.
I'll be happy to host. I live in a great neighborhood, right?
Aha, so we have a volunteer host, so that means it's going to happen. So yeah, if you're having a garage saleable stuff, it sounds like this is coming up in the future. So if you have the space to hold on to it for a little while, we'll find a way to get rid of it for a good cause for you. Great. Okay, let's open this up. Other announcements that people have? Yeah.
I'm brand new. I'm also looking for a job.
Uh-huh.
What do you do? I've done whatever I can do to stay alive. I've done office work. I can do mail merge, a little bit of desktop publishing, but mainly what I do is explain to elderly people how to use the computer. And I've enjoyed that a lot. I enjoy working with different cultures and different kinds of people.
Well, if only you were in Nebraska, I'd send you to my parents. They could use you. Great. One idea that's been floated, and let me just sort of get a show of hands, is there are various people who either are looking for jobs or know of job opportunities. Would people be interested in having like a meetup dinner where people with either looking for jobs or aware of job opportunities could go and network about that sort of stuff? Maybe get a show of hands who all thinks they might be interested in going to something like that if we did it. In a few hands, so it might be worth putting it onto the meetup page and see if we get a critical mass of people for that. Great. Let's see, I got one other announcement here about we, starting last month, have gone green, at least a little bit, in that we've gotten reusable plates, which is, reduces our costs over the long run because we don't have to keep buying disposable plates, and also it's better for the environment that we don't keep throwing away disposable plates. But the key to this process is that you don't throw away the more expensive reusable plates that we got. So there'll be a big bin in the kitchen labeled for you to put your green plates back into, and soon we'll have reusable silverware and stuff like that. We don't have that yet, but we'll have that soon. So thanks for doing your part in that. Let's see, any other announcements? Oh, there was an envelope that was going around to try to get volunteers. Did that make it all the way back to Larry? Okay, good. So we got some people who might be willing to help out with the childcare stuff. And if you didn't get your name on that but wanted on that, that would be great to help out with the educational classes on opposite the gatherings. Great. Okay, so, oh yeah.
Yeah, not really an announcement. I just wanted to comment that I really enjoyed today's program, and the thing that put me in mind of a quote of Abraham Lincoln, when I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. And that's my religion.
Aha, great. Thanks for sharing that quote. That is really relevant. Great. Okay, so I think that's it. Just a few reminders here. All our events are listed on our meetup site, so if you aren't on that, get on that and check things out there. Thanks to everybody who's volunteered time and money for this. We'll see y'all in December, but before that, we'll see y'all with the potluck, so have fun.